I'm Brendan Banahan of The Internationalist. As a company, we focus on connecting the people and ideas in marketing worldwide through content, intelligence, thought leadership, and collaboration on a variety of platforms. The Internationalist created the concept of marketing makes a world of difference in 2012 before the word purpose became part of the marketing vernacular. This is now one of marketing's most significant callings, making a world of difference through a deeper understanding of the complex dynamics and outcomes of purposeful marketing strategies while demonstrating the importance of the marketing function within the corporation. As part of our ongoing research, called the Internationalist Insight Survey, we conducted a study in 2020 among marketers worldwide to understand more about their sentiments on the evolution of purpose in a tumultuous year.
The events of last year caught everyone off guard. They also, though, underscored the profound change in the connections between brands and society.
I'd like to introduce Deborah Malone, founder of The Internationalist, to discuss some of the survey results and their implications for marketers. Welcome, Deborah.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's start at the beginning. How has purpose evolved?
Well, let me start by saying that today's marketers now have a sophisticated understanding of the ideals of brand purpose and of the purpose-led organization. However, the sudden complexity of 2020's events has caused them to reassess how marketing's role can make a difference amid so much change and uncertainty.
So, are you saying that purpose doesn't matter now?
No, I'm not saying that. Purpose certainly matters, particularly as society's expectation for business are increasing. We now live in an era of accelerated stakeholder capitalism and corporate citizenship. Most marketers, though, admit that they're grappling with how to deliver unified, purposeful messaging across a range of environmental, social, economic, and sustainable priorities, and at a time when everyone is working from home and organizations need to transform at breakneck speed. And they have a lot of questions. Let me just cite a few. If corporate culture is vulnerable in a remote world, what about purpose, which is so often linked to culture? Are customers experiencing purpose fatigue after months of quarantine, safety protocols, and less socialization? Are all of those generous deeds that were implemented during the height of the spring COVID crisis considered purposeful, or were they just emergency reactions? Should they even be mentioned in marketing, or would that seem too promotional? Are we living in a post-purpose world now in which every brand, organization, or even small business must now embrace a vision of their North Star? What happens if certain products must be withdrawn or markets exited, not only because of economic realities, but because they are not measuring up to a redefined higher purpose bar?
That's very interesting. What is the research telling us, though?
Well, the answers to the latest Internationalist Insight Survey can be characterized as unsettled as we look at the evolution of brand purpose. While respondents are very clear on definitions, they are certainly less clear about the effects of current change and the potential for new outcomes.
Would you say that we're all hesitantly approaching, quote, Purpose 2.0, or are we already there?
Well, that's a great term to consider, and we probably are there. Like so many other concepts and ideas, purpose has no doubt evolved in 2020. The events of last year caught everyone off guard. They also, though, underscored the profound change in the connections between brands and society. Today, the role of marketing is transforming to reflect the increased responsibilities of business. Our research shows that nearly 86% of marketers worldwide now agree with the following statement. Companies should not only serve their shareholders, but also deliver value to their customers, invest in employees, deal fairly with suppliers, and support the communities in which they operate.
That sounds very much like the ideals expressed by the Business Roundtable.
Yes, it does. And I think, as many know, perhaps not everyone outside the US, but the Business Roundtable is a nonprofit association of CEOs at leading US companies who work together to promote a prosperous economy. The group's August 2019 statement represented a massive shift in the very essence of business when stakeholder interests were elevated to the same level as shareholder interests.
What else did the study show in terms of definitions of purpose today?
Well, other key attributes of purpose now include sustainability, transparency, responsibility, empathy, as well as meaningful actions and true substance. I can read a few of the scores. What we did was we gave people taking the survey roughly 20 different statements, and they could agree with as many as they liked if those statements represented what purpose means to them now. You've heard about the first statement, which 86% of respondents agreed with. 71% of respondents agreed with the statement, sustainability and transparency are now essential to a purpose-led organization. The next statement was 61% agreed that meaningful actions, empathy, and responsibility are at the heart of the purpose-led organization. 57% agreed that a strong brand purpose is not about what kind of business you would like to be. It is about what kind of business you actually are. And 54% agreed that a purpose without substance will just be perceived as business as usual and do more harm to the company than good. There are quite a number of other statements. However, what I found quite interesting was that the lowest scoring statements about purpose in the current survey were considered important just a year ago, including the path to profit is by living your purpose, which reflected in this survey the lowest amount of agreement among respondents at just 21%.
Stepping back for a second, how do you interpret this?
Well, I would say that the pandemic has actually accelerated a sophisticated understanding of the deeper meaning and responsibility of purpose, particularly as it relates to business obligations and the importance of meeting the needs and concerns of all stakeholders, be they employees, consumers, communities, suppliers, etc. There's no question that marketers and corporations are wrestling with how to better execute the many aspects of purpose-based ideals. Yet I will say they are certainly becoming clearer about what is expected of them.
Thanks very much, Deborah. Well said. In our next podcast, we'll look at whether or not being purpose led is becoming more difficult for marketers. Today's transparent social media environment has dramatically shifted the rules of, quote, doing good business, and marketing leaders throughout the world are evolving to address new challenges and opportunities. The assumption of responsibility, the authenticity of purpose, and the adoption of greater transparency are now critical to how any brand or business plays its proper role in society. The Internationalist Marketing Makes the World a Difference initiative will help to ensure that this happens. Thanks very much, Deb.
Thank you, Brendan.
Please tune into our next podcast or visit our website. It's theinternationalist.com, but please note that there is a hyphen between the and internationalist. Thanks very much, everyone. Today's podcast was made easy by Rivet 360. For more information, please visit rivet360.com.